What's up, everybody? Bootsy Greenwood here, and I'm making a little bit different of a format video today, but I thought this might be easier than me drawing stuff on the board that you can barely decipher. Sometimes it's fun. I like doing it. But this might be a little bit more helpful to be able to pull off. What I wanted to talk to you about today is what is known as the hero's journey. This is something that a lot of people talk about, and I see some parallels with it. One of the things that I really want to impart, I guess, is that the hero's journey is not you're not entitled to it. It's not automatic. It's not something that you can just assume will happen in your life. You might be on the hero's journey, but you have to consciously choose to stay on that hero's journey, or else you will not make it all the way through the hero's journey. It is an amazing tool. It is something that is deeply embedded into our soul. There's a guy named Joseph Campbell who wrote a lot of books. Mostly, he found that every story was what he called a monomyth, meaning that every story followed a specific pattern and has for thousands of years. So even before media and movies, you're going to see this process in literally every story, unless it's just a bad story. This template is embedded into it. And he discovered this from a very, very long time ago. Now, how our subconscious mind works is really through story. Story is extremely powerful to us. It's probably the oldest art form that there is, right? Imagine, if you will, thousands of years ago, we're standing around a fire and we're hearing a story and we're enthralled by the story. Before there were screens and ink or paper or any of that, there was the word of mouth and there was story. So in every culture, in every society, in every person is kind of embedded this particular framework. And as far as we go in our journey, if you will, we are also on this path. But in order to stay the course and actually see it through to its finality, you have to consciously continue down the path. And it gets kind of difficult, right? And we see this in movies and we see this in a lot of stories. Now, a lot of the movies and stuff we see, it's filled with, a lot of different ideas and stuff like that as kind of the decorum or the decorations of the film or picture or whatever. But the story is going to be the same. And so I will go ahead and start to share this. And I have some parallels that I want to share with you. The biggest thing about this is I want to encourage you, especially if you're new, or if you've been on this particular path of spirituality, reality creation, reality transurfing, reality surfing, whatever you want to call it. This is a process that's going to have some ebbs and flows. It's not something that you're just going to watch a few videos and then all of a sudden you're going to be like the master of your reality type of thing. Now, I don't want to put any limiting beliefs in your head. Okay. So I'm not here to tell you you can't do stuff. I think we're innately able to be very magical human beings. Now, the thing about it is, a society and the way that we're taught growing up in school, etc., it kind of works the opposite way for us. We wind up becoming sort of susceptible to a lot of cultural ideologies and memes and different sets of beliefs that don't really help us, that hinder our progress, that actually work backwards toward a lot of the innate abilities that we are born with and we have, I believe. But this particular model is incredible, and I want to pair it with a couple of other models, and I thought I would do that a little bit differently today by showing some of these graphics to you and explaining how they go together. Okay, there is a learning curve in spirituality, just like anything else. It's funny, when I got into spirituality, so I'm not trying to preach, I just know my own self, right? Like when I got into spirituality, I was like, oh, I get it. I can just manifest stuff. And then I had some success or whatever. And then I ran into some not so successful things. And I was like, wow, this is confusing. I'm lost. I'm not sure what I'm doing anymore. I need help, etc. And that is probably going to be the case for a lot of people. Otherwise, these models would not exist. So what I really want to be doing here is encouraging you. Let me just make that very clear. Like, I'm not here to discourage you and tell you, oh, you have to work. That's not the message. The message is to just be patient and stay the course and continue no matter what. If it gets difficult, guess what? It's going to get difficult. That's what this experience is about. Like, we're going to incur challenges. Get used to that, right? Like, that's just the world that we live in. And you are not entitled to this process. You are not entitled to transformation. If you give up, if you decide that you don't want to do it anymore, then you're off the path. You're not going to be on the hero's journey anymore. So you need to be able to be encouraged, take it from other people who have been there before you, who have stayed the course, and just continue to blow through the resistance and the frustration and the confusion and all of those types of things, because there's going to be some of that, right? Like, everybody's experience is going to be different. But again, these models exist because it is a common theme and a common experience, right? All right. So this is the hero's journey. We got a little backpacker here. That is you. You are here at the beginning of a journey of a hero. Now, a lot of times something happens in our lives, and we get kind of a call to adventure. Maybe we're moving to a new place. Maybe we're changing jobs. Maybe we're learning a new skill. Like, we want to learn how to, make our reality our dream, or we want to become a famous model or actor, or who knows, right? We have this call to adventure. We're like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to become a musician. I'm going to become a poet. It doesn't matter. Fill in the blank, whatever it is for you. And you have a call to adventure. Now, you'll notice something's actually missing here, which is usually there's a refusal to the call where we have some resistance to it, which absolutely, you could just be like, well, you know what? I'm on my couch. I was going to go to the grocery store, but now I don't feel like it anymore. So that's a refusal to the call, and you stop doing it. Okay. And it's going to the gym, getting healthy, eating better. It doesn't matter. There's going to be resistance, and you need to plow through that resistance. Okay. Very often, some sort of synchronicity or unexpected sort of help will be offered to you. And that is something that I love that Paulo Coelho says, is like, when we set out to do or accomplish our goal, supernatural forces come to our aid, right? That boldness. And I will also add that there's going to be some resistances too from the pendulums that are in our life. So ultimately, we get through it, and we're like, I'm doing this. I've made the choice consciously. That's breaking through the threshold and into this unknown aspect of the journey. This is the part where the learning curve really happens. So we begin in the threshold here. We may have some success. We find some people in our lives who can talk to us, like, might be a YouTuber. It might be someone who we actually know, who can really be a mentor to us, who can tell us about their experiences and what they've went through. And we begin to take some of their lessons to heart. And ultimately, as we go through, we get to what is known as the abyss. Now, this is really what the abyss is, what I really want to kind of focus on for this particular video. The abyss is the point in this journey where no one can really help you. You're on your own. You're confused. You're upside down. You're struggling. You're having challenges. Things just aren't going the way that you thought they would. And it's frustrating, and it's scary, all of that. But in this particular area here, this is where you learn something about yourself that no one else can teach you. This is where you become a completely independent agent, where you dig down deep and you find something within you that makes you understand yourself and gives you the ability to accomplish this task. It is absolutely necessary. It's a rite of passage. And this might be a lot of things. There's a lot of different things that can happen here. And I want to say, like, this is also a journey that repeats itself a lot. Okay. I want to compare this to the learning curve. Okay. We can outline this learning curve and very much plot out the points. Okay. Here on this hero's journey. Oh, this seems fun. I think I'm going to go. Oh, wait a second. This was not quite what I was thinking that it was. Okay. You're learning from the mentor here in this area. And then you're like, okay, wait, I think I get this. And then boom, crash into the abyss. Here it is. The abyss is here. I know nothing. Everything is hard. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to, right? You're just kind of completely lost. Okay. And then from that point, you're going to continue through that process, learn something about yourself, learn something intuitively about this experience that is going to push you forward and into ultimately a transformation and an understanding and the ability to replicate the experience. So whatever that is, okay, you can do it over and over again. As we say, you can make fire at that point. That's the learning curve. Now, this learning curve also goes hand in hand with this idea of the 4 stages of competence. Okay. I want to outline this because it also runs quite parallel with a nuance. Now, when you begin out, you have no idea what's going on. You're here in unconscious incompetence. You're like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm doing, but it might be fun, right? Like, let's give it a try. And you probably have some beginner's luck. You're like, oh, this is neat. Well, then you learn, that other dip, you're like, oh no, this is harder than I thought. Wait a second. I thought this was going to be easy. This is a little bit difficult. I'm not really sure what's going on here. And then you have conscious competence, which is the awareness of what you're doing and getting results. And finally, unconscious competence. Now, the nuance that I want to add here is from a book that I read called It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Mawad. He also wrote another book called Thinking Neutral. And he was a mentality coach for the Alabama football team, the Georgia football team, Russell Wilson, Venus Williams, Serena Williams, some of the top athletic performers in mindset. And that mindset is a huge aspect of athletics. And it has been for quite some time. People may not know that, but that was, very impactful and has been. And one of the things that he talks about is how easy an athlete will see through the bullshit. If you kind of give them some hoity-toity, oh, just visualize it and see yourself throwing a Super Bowl pass. It's like, yeah, I get it. That's not enough, right? Like, they need more than that. They need true evidence. And I think we shouldn't settle for anything less. I couldn't agree with him more. It's so easy to just be like, well, and then blame the victim when it doesn't work. But it's like, do you know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? Like, that's not something that, it's not even up to just one person. Even if you were the perfect magic manifester person, you need an entire group of people around you in order to make that happen. So it's a very difficult thing to achieve. Now, one of the things that he says is that these 2 blocks are actually backwards. So what it should look like, and I fixed it for us, is it should look like this. It should look like unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, unconscious competence, meaning you're getting results, but you're not quite sure how you're getting those results. And finally, into conscious competence. That is controllable, the ability to make fire, the ability to replicate the thing that you have learned. You have transformed and attained a skill now, and you can consciously deliver that skill. You know what it is that you're doing. You're not unconscious about it. You're conscious about it. And that is the fourth and final step. And I tend to agree with that, right? So if we come back here after this abyss, this terrible experience of feeling lost and without anyone's help, this is where we pick up that ability to become competent and understand what it is that we're doing here, and ultimately return back to the top of the pyramid as a changed person, as someone who has taken on a skill. Now, this process may take months. This process may take years. I mean, if you're a woodworker, or if you're even a plumber, or an electrician, or you name it, right? Like, there's several different skills that are wrapped up in the idea of us having one skill, right? Like, if you're learning a skill, it's not going to be one skill. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be several different skills that you're going to have to learn in order to actually master that skill. And so that's what we're talking about here with this hero's journey. And I just want to encourage you. I want to say, wherever you are in this particular framework, I want to encourage you to continue going forward, because you're going to find and discover something about yourself that you didn't even know existed. And, when we wind up watching a lot of these movies, we notice that on the return, the character, they don't necessarily even get what they set out for. They get something different because they learned something new about themselves. So this is alchemy. I mean, this is the process of transformation. This is the process of becoming a completely unique and undefeatable human being, someone who really truly masters something, someone who really truly has the ability. Because you can sit around and manifest a thing here, or a parking spot there, and hey, that's cool, no big deal. But having the ability to replicate over and over and over again, to make fire, to really put yourself in a place where you're living truly the life of your dreams. You're doing the things and spending your time the way that you actually want to be able to do that. That is not just winning the lottery once, right? That's not just snagging a parking spot, or, manifesting a handbag, right? Like, congratulations. Like, I'm not trying to shit on you, but what I'm saying is to really be able to understand, to really be able to be competent, consciously competent, it is necessary to go through all the steps in this hero's journey. And the abyss is the most terrifying and lonely place in the entire thing, but it's absolutely necessary. So I hope that you have good mentors. I hope that you have good helpers. I hope that you'll seek those out. But even your mentors and helpers, when you get to that point, there's nothing they can do. It's you and the rustle of the morning stars. You have to hear your own intuition in order to continue. And at any point you give up, you don't get to return. You don't get the gift of the goddess. You don't get the transformation. It doesn't happen once you quit, once you stop. So I want to encourage you. I say all that to say, take the fortress by lengthy siege. There's no rush. There's no hurry. And in fact, if you think about it from a reality creation perspective, you're already there anyway. This is all just part of the process of bringing it into the physical reality. So I hope this is helpful. I hope it's cool. I hope you dig it. I know it's a little bit of a different presentation style than what I usually do on this channel. But like I said, I wanted to, use some more clear graphics. And I want to just say thank you. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're interested in coaching, I have a couple spots. I'd be interested in seeing if it's a good fit. If it is, that's great. We'll set up a call. Just go to my website, send me a contact me submission, and we will chat and see if it might be something that could be beneficial. Thanks so much. Please like the video, subscribe, share if it's helpful, and send me any notes. I'm happy to hear your perspectives, ideas, and feedback. Cheers, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Peace and much love.